Testing 1, 2, 3. Welcome to the Wednesday LiveStream with Dulcimer Crossing. I am Erin Mae Lewis, and I am your host today. I'm just checking to see if it's working because I tried a moment ago and it did not work, but now it appears to be working. Fantastic. Okay. So we are live. I am monitoring your comments. Should you like to chime in a bit? I get to be with you for the next few weeks for the Wednesday live stream. Steve Yulberg, who is your usual host for the Wednesday live streams, had knee surgery yesterday, and I got an update that he is doing well, recovering well so far from that. So he'll be out for a few weeks taking care of rehab for his knee, and I get to hang out with you. And most of you know by now that I have been in Scotland for a few weeks. And so I thought I would just kind of share some things that I'm working on and practicing as a result of having spent some time here. So, I have so far attended 3 open sessions on Tuesday nights at the same pub led by the same person, which has been really fantastic because I'm starting to sort of get a sense of like, how does this session work, and get to know some of the musicians who are a part of it. And my background is first bluegrass, which is lots and lots of jamming. And I really love playing with other people. So to attend a session and be playing my music with other people, that is 100% in the realm of things that I already love to do. But sessions in Scotland are not the same as going to a bluegrass festival in Kansas or somewhere in the States, or a dulcimer festival, or even an old time festival, which I've been to fewer old time sessions than bluegrass and dulcimer festivals in my life, but still quite a few of those in my experience. And then, I've been to sort of an Irish style session in Kansas, but Kansas is a long way from Ireland, and Irish music and Scottish music have similarities but are not exactly the same. So I'm getting to kind of delve into some of the nuances of that by actually being here for a while. And so now I can speak to my experience at one session in Scotland, which I've been to more than once. And the first thing that I noticed is that they change keys within the same set. So it's very common for them to play 4 to 6 tunes in one set with no pausing or stopping or naming the next tune at all. So we might call that creating a medley, and they might call that a set. So they would do a set of tunes. Often the set of tunes is going to all be the same style of tune. So jigs in a set, reels in a set, marches in a set. They've done some sets that are like Shetland tunes in a set, or sort of regional styling of tunes in a set. And they change keys between each of those tunes often. And so most commonly, the keys that they may use are D and G and A minor and E minor, which are all actually super accessible mountain dulcimer keys. But we tend to access those keys by either retuning or using a capo. And that makes it nearly impossible to switch between them without a pause or a break in between. And so I've realized that my approach to playing in different keys is not the approach that's working the best for me in trying to join in, like learn the tunes and play along in the session. I need to be able to switch from key to key without having to like move my hands, retune my drones, put a capo on. So what I'm practicing as a result of having sat in on this session is how to play my scales and patterns in the keys of D and G and A, all in what I would call the first position on my dulcimer. So that's what I'm going to show you. please feel free to pop in questions. I do have my chromatic dulcimer out right now, but I actually plan to kind of switch over to my diatonic dulcimer and show you on the diatonic mountain dulcimer. And I haven't yet spent enough time with this information to know exactly how this directly translates over to hammer dulcimer yet. It might already be easier for a hammer dulcimer player to just move from key to key in a way that it takes a little bit more work for a mountain dulcimer to do that process, because you may be able to just move to a different box, play the tune, move to a different box, play the tune. The other thing is I got to sit next to the piper last night in the session, and he was playing what he calls Scottish small pipes, which are similar to the Scottish Highland pipes, except smaller and meant to be played indoors instead of outdoors. And his range on the Scottish small pipes is 1 octave plus 1 note. And it seemed to be that the range was a G, which would be equivalent to the 3rd fret on the bass string of a mountain dulcimer, up to an A, the octave higher, which would be the equivalent of the 4th fret on the melody string on a mountain dulcimer. And on a piano staff, it would be the G below middle C up to the A above middle C. So an octave plus a note, I think. That's right. And he had some fancy keys that he could switch between C sharps and C naturals. So he could switch between A major and A minor. And he could play like the D tunes or the A tunes that had G naturals. So a lot of A mixolydian and A minor and D tunes actually fit pretty well on those pipes, and also are dulcimer friendly kind of positions. So with all of that information, here's what I'm practicing. All right. So let me switch my camera so you can see my dulcimer. So like I said, this is my chromatic dulcimer. And I just realized that I didn't do a specific sound check. I hope that y'all can hear me. Oh, yep, it looks like you can. Okay. So on the chromatic dulcimer approach first, I have already spent some time. Oh, let me see if I can get rid of my name so you can see my dulcimer clearly. There we go. I've already spent a lot of time practicing D major scales across the strings. So starting on D open on the bass string, going up 4 notes on the bass string, D, E, F sharp, G, and then middle string A, B, C sharp, and then either you playing the D on the middle string or crossing over to the melody string for the D. And then I kind of go up another octave and a half. So I go D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A. And that gives me an octave and a half scale. And it keeps me in what I think of as the first 4 frets, which is kind of what I think of as the first position on the dulcimer. So for me, first position is like fret 0, 1, 2, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And those are the diatonic numbers, even though I'm looking at the chromatic dulcimer right now. And then the second position is sort of the 3 to 6 range on the instrument. And then 4 to 7 is this next range. And then above 7 is my next kind of hand position. So like 2 to 6 or 3 to 6 is sort of the middle position. 4 to 7, third position. 7 and above, fourth position. So that's a very loose concept. The position idea comes from instruments like the fiddle, where you have first position, second position, third position, which my sister plays. So I kind of borrow some of that language, and it's a loose concept for me, but it helps me think about where I am. So the D scale is there. I've also spent a fair amount of time trying to play in the key of G here. And so I play my G note on the bass string, and then I play A, B, C, and D. So that C natural note is one that if you have the 1.5 fret, you have it on your dulcimer. And if you don't, that's a missing note on the middle string. And so if you want to play across the strings in the key of G, having that 1.5 fret for the middle string is very useful. So I play G, A, B, C, that's my extra fret. D can either be on the middle string or the melody string again, and then E, F sharp, G. And when I practice this scale, I start on that G note. And then as I come down, I keep going. So that's where my extra half octave comes in the key of G, is those notes below Do or below that starting G note. Okay, so G and D, those are things that I've practiced before. What I hadn't practiced already, and I found myself really wishing I was better at, was playing in the key of A right here in this hand position. Because for the key of A, I've always either capoed to the 4th fret and played up from there. So I'm playing, or I've tuned my bass string to an E note, and then I have my E and A drones, and I play on the melody string. And both of those work really well for bluegrass and old time music and are failing me completely for playing in the Scottish sessions. So it turns out I, again, with the chromatic dulcimer, have a different kind of set of things available to me. But again, I'll show you how this connects, because actually a lot of the A tunes have G naturals in them. So for an A major scale, I can start on the middle string open, and I can play A, B, C sharp, and then again my D can be on the middle string or not. And then on the melody string, E, F sharp, and then I need a G sharp, which is, again, an extra note. So that's the 3.5 fret that I'm on right here, which I have because I'm playing my chromatic dulcimer. And then I can go again below Do on the bass string. And again, I have that G sharp note at that extra fret on the bass string. So there's hesitation in there because I'm deciding when to play open strings and when to fret. And it's different than the decisions that I make when I play in D, which is, I'm finding it to be interesting. But because I'm really used to playing 1, 2, 3, 4 sounds together from my first string, I'm finding it easier to fret the D on the middle string, which means that I don't play the open melody string. I play the fretted melody string. But then I have to remember to play the middle string open, and it's to go to open and then fretted notes. So that's the thing that I'm noticing in myself. Like, there's this hesitation. Am I going to an open string next, or am I going to a fretted string to make the next sound? Then I found myself going, okay, so it's all fine and good to be able to play this scale up and down, but tunes rarely just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, from 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? They don't go straight up and straight down. Usually there's some amount of like skips and jumps. So then I started practicing. When I played that pattern of skips, I found myself sometimes using the open D and sometimes using the fretted D on the middle string. So I'm going A, skip to C sharp, B, skip to D, C sharp, skip to E, which is on the next string, D open, skip to F sharp, E, skip to G sharp, F sharp, skip to A, and then come down A, F sharp, G sharp, E, F sharp, D open, E, C sharp on the middle, D fretted, B, C sharp, A. So if I'm skipping down from D, I fret the D. If I'm skipping up from D or skipping down to D, then I'm using the open string. So depending on what came before it right now, that's how I'm deciding whether to fret the D on the middle string or not. Okay, so there are, though, a bunch of A Mixolydian tunes which use the G natural. And there are a bunch of tunes that don't have the G in them at all because the seventh note of the scale is the most frequently skipped note of the scale. It's not part of the pentatonic scale. It tends to not show up in the tunes always. And so a lot of times you can play A, G, F sharp, E, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E. Open. Use the G natural. All right, so that's some A stuff. So now about a tune. So because again, to be able to do it as a scale or even to do it as a skipping pattern, it still isn't showing me a tune. And actually, I'm going to switch over to my diatonic dulcimer now and do the same kind of process, but show you on the diatonic dulcimer without the extra frets. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to mute so it doesn't make a super ton of noise while Okay, diatonic dulcimer. Tune D-A-D. No extra frets. All right, so there's my A scale. A Mixolydian is what I was playing with the G naturals, right? Knowing that if I have an A major tune, my G sharp does exist. It's at 6.5 on the middle string, but it's not in the row. But I can still do a lot, generally playing in the key of A, even without that G sharp note. So there's a tune I learned a bunch of years ago called "Oh, the Breeches Full of Stitches." It's a Irish polka that I play in A in this position. So it only uses I realized I couldn't play the tune and talk at the same time. It's not quite fresh enough in my mind. But it only uses frets 0, 1, and 2 actually to play the whole tune. And so it's got A, B, C sharp, and then it's got D, E, and F sharp. And it also has low F sharp and E in it. So I can play that tune and had already learned it in that position. So as I'm trying to orient myself to like a new way of thinking about and playing my dulcimer, playing a tune I already know in that position. And I learned that tune in that position because it was easy. Like when I analyzed out the tune, it just was the easiest place to play it. And it was an A tune. I can send you music to this if you'd like to learn it. So that's Oh, the Rich is Full of Stitches. And then I start to try to just like think of a tune that I know really well in the key of D and try to play it in this position in the key of A. So tunes that come to mind for me are things like Liza Jane. So now I'm starting on the middle string, crossing to the melody string. That goes up to the high A, it goes up to the octave. So my brain is thinking like it goes up to 7. 7 is the octave. The octave in my new key is A, so I need to look for 4th fret. There's a place where I'm crossing the strings in a different place than I expect, so it gets murky. Learn to do it again. So I had this instinct to put a chord in, and that failed. Now I'm going to see what happens. I know that I've got an A chord by playing 101, right? So I also know that my E chord is 111 and my D chord is open, right? So I've got these really simple 1, 4, 5 chords, A, E, and D, in the 1st fret or open on my dulcimer. So if I can think about covering the bass string with 1, a lot of times I've got something that kind of is chordy in here. So let's try that. It's kind of boring, but it works. Okay, so there's Liza Jane. The next one I thought of was Soldier's Joy. So there's a place where I need a G sharp if I want to get the whole leg. Da 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 da. G sharp, A. So I can catch it on the middle string or I can leave it out. So that's a good one to pay attention to. Now, the B part, I'm going to go down for. need a G sharp down here that I don't have anywhere on my instrument, so we're going to skip it for sure. 2, 3, melody string, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, melody string, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, melody string, 1, 2, 3, 2, 0, 1, 0, which is actually the same fret numbers as I would play on the melody string for the B part. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. The only difference is the 4 is on the melody string now. So that transition of like 0, 1, 2, 3 lays out exactly then on the middle string. And the thing that I have to adjust is what's happening on the melody string, which is 1, 2, 3.5, 4 instead of 5, 6.5, 4, 5, 6.5, 7. So, it's getting in there. It's getting in my brain a little bit. That's what I'm working on. And then I thought I wanted to try a Mixolydian tune, and I am actually teaching the tune Squirrel Hunters as an EAD tune. That's usually where I play it. It's an old time tune. I tuned it EAD, but I thought, I wonder if I could play Squirrel Hunters in this position. Tune I already know. Tune that's been in my head. I've been kind of practicing it. Now gonna see if I can play it here. So Squirrel Hunters, I usually play, it's already an A tune, so it's in my mind in A, but I'm moving it to a different place on my dulcimer. So for Liza Jane and Soldier's Joy, I was actually changing the key. The key it's in my mind is D, so I'm transposing it from D to A. Now I'm taking an A tune that's already an A, and I'm trying to put it into a different place on my dulcimer. So Squirrel Hunters starts with 8, 7, 5, 5, 7, 8, 7, 8, 7, 5. This is an E to a D to a B. So I need to look for E, D, B down here. So I'm finding it at frets 1 and open. 1, O, middle 1. Melody open, 1, 0, 1, 0, middle 1. And then it goes to this low G. That's it. It goes to this low G, this missing link thing. It's not on the middle string, which is where I thought I needed the next note, right? It's on the middle string. It makes sense. It's an A. It would go down to A, but it goes down to this low G. So I'm catching the 3rd fret on the bass string to actually play the tune. G. And then I started trying to put chords to it. So A again is 101. So to a G. Back to A. To G. Actually lands on D. Back to A. To G. Back to A. To G. D. So that's the A part, and it's very slow for me right now because I'm finding it in a new place. That's like the actual practice process for me of like, I want to try to get better at doing a thing in a different way than I've approached it so far. So I start with a tune that uses that approach already, and then taking a tune I know in D and moving it to A using that approach, taking a tune I know in A in a different position and using that approach. And then my last approach would be to learn a new tune using this position. And the tune I found, I actually will show you. Thanks to my student Shirley, whom we stayed with in Cambridge, she passed on this session tune book to me. And so I just started flipping through the tune book and I found this one, which I actually don't know how to pronounce. The Athol or Atoll Highlanders. It is a Scottish march and it is in the key of A and it has 4 parts and it doesn't use G sharps, it uses G naturals. And so this morning, one of the things I did was tab out this tune for the dulcimer in the key of A. So I'll just play like one time through each part for you very slowly because I'm just starting to learn it and show you that process. So. The second part. Third part. Fourth part. It's my favorite. Here it comes. Yeah. Phew. All right. It's rough, but that's my process. That's what I am practicing on this Wednesday. So, this live stream topic was inspired by the new Facebook group. Let me see if I can pull up real quick so that I can tell you exactly the right thing. So Steve and Dulcimer Crossing started a new Facebook group. If you are using Facebook, if you're watching it here on our page, the group is called the Dulcimer Community, Mastering the Art of the Dulcimer. And it is specifically designed to be a group that focuses on equipping you to get to the next place in your playing and communicating about where we're getting stuck and what's helping us get unstuck. And so this week there's been several kind of threads of conversation going about how we build practice routines. And the reality is everyone's practice routine is probably going to look different, and mine often feels kind of scattered right now. Like I am just practicing sort of whatever comes to the top. But I also find that practicing whatever comes to the top is a good way of moving forward. And so sometimes for me, that's just opening a tune book and trying to play a bunch of different tunes. Sometimes one of those tunes really captures my attention, like the Atoll Highlanders. I'm going to learn how to pronounce that word and let y'all know. Sometimes for me, it's something that a student requests that makes me go looking in a different place. Sometimes I am just playing whatever comes out of my dulcimer. Sometimes there's a certain tune that I have been working on for a while and I just realize it's not up to snuff, and I sit and practice that one tune, sometimes for a whole hour. I just practice one tune and I play it a bunch of different ways and I keep looking for ideas, and then I practice it again the next day. So sometimes I'm really soaking in one piece of music for a long time, and sometimes I'm exploring a lot of different music, and they all work together to keep you moving forward in your playing. So if you're feeling stuck or like you are at a plateau maybe in your learning, which happens to everyone, please don't feel bad about that. It is a normal part of the learning process to get stuck. I do recommend checking out the Dulcimer Crossing site for the video lessons, and also checking out this new the Dulcimer Community, Mastering the Art of the Dulcimer group. It is a group that you will have to ask permission to join, because we want to keep spammers and people who aren't really serious about playing their instrument out of it, so that it can be a really great space for helping you meet your next goals. So anyway, check all of that out, and I will be back next week for another Wednesday live stream with you. So if you've got any requests for topics, techniques, anything you'd like to hear about, do let me know, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. Thanks, y'all. Bye.